it's complete lockdown. Staples Center. His SUVs go down into underground garage and stuff. So I had heard about where he was entering and exiting, and I made a letter with a picture of my back with a diagram of how big I want him to sign my back. And I wrote, Michael, I'm going to be in LA for the next week. I'd really like you to sign my back for a tattoo. It's the only tattoo I'd ever get. Here's my phone number. Here's my info. I slipped it into the back window of the SUV as it's pulling away. I don't know if he's even in there. I just slip it in.
Holy shit.
And I see the 3 SUVs like convoy. They stop. Security gets out of the front one. And they're like, who wanted the tattoo? And I'm like,
holy shit.
I'm like, me. And they're like, follow us. And we followed them on the freeway for like a half hour, and then went to Michael Jackson's doctor's office.
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
Yeah, you, buddy. What's up?
What's up?
I love that. That was fantastic. I love you just casting some last minute spells in the corner.
I tried to set up like the fog machine and everything, but I didn't have time.
There's very few people that I don't care. Like I wouldn't have to worry about them being late. And the fact that you were like, we started late, I was like, it's gonna be fine. I just knew you were getting shit together, or at least trying to.
Yeah, this is how all my Halloweens are. Like I've been awake for probably 4 days straight, just like nonstop, finishing everybody's Halloween deadlines, doing everybody's last minute Halloween projects. So yeah, I just came from a dance school with like 20 dancers doing Thriller, doing all their makeup. I don't know, you know Jesse, I think. Jesse. Yeah. He did Thriller Michael, and yeah, that's where I just ran from.
So fucking cool, man. Are you guys, so when's the show?
That we were just filming for like to put it out tomorrow.
Oh, just to put it out tomorrow? Oh my God, that's so cool. I knew you always got something cooking, so I'm glad you got to make the time to do this too. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna ask him to do like end of October Halloween thing, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be too busy.
Yeah, this Halloween has been like not as crazy as usual because there's just obviously not as much going on, but
yeah. It's crazy, man. I love how long we've known each other too, and I like that. One of the things is that you've always been the same guy. Like there's never like, you know what I mean? Like this whole thing is like, I can remember walking down the hallways in high school and I just feel like, what is Pete wearing today? Like it was always a different costume. You just never gave a fuck like with anybody. Like were you always like that? Because that's one thing I don't know for sure. I just remember you when we met in high school and that's who you were to me.
Yeah, in high school, I kind of gave a lot more of a fuck, and I was like, I kind of wanted to disappear and just blend in and not be noticed by anyone. Like I wouldn't even do the theater stuff. I didn't even do the school theater stuff. And I know Harper hated me for that. She knew I was going out and doing dance recitals and not doing the high school theater show.
Right.
But yeah, in high school, I would just like wear the plainest thing I could, walk through the hallway. I got class quietest in the yearbook. Yeah. And it was kind of after high school that I just like dyed my hair black, shaved my eyebrows, wore eyeliner every single day, and just didn't give a fuck ever again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You were super, super fucking quiet, except for when we would hang out with other people outside of it. Then it was like,
outside of school, I was a different person. But
absolutely. And then inside of school, it was just like, he's right. He's trying to blend in. He's dressed in black, and he's just keeping to himself. Yeah. It was interesting, man. Did you ever get any people who were like, kind of like, what's that kid's deal? Or did everybody kind of leave you alone?
I was never like I can't say I was like bullied or harassed or anything like that.
Right.
It was more just like, he's the kid in the background, the quiet kid,
Well, yeah.
Maybe they thought I would shoot up the school one day, but
But they were like, we're gonna be real nice to him, so it's not us.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we had a pretty good group. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember anybody being really shitty to anybody.
Yeah, me and Jesse were actually just talking about this, what driving, like that whole era of high school East and of Lily and Dean Dance Studio and stuff. For some reason, it was like a lot of talented people in this few years.
Yes.
And even some of the teachers have said that they noticed it was like this moment, and then
Yeah. I've actually gone back, like I've actually asked like a couple teachers. I think I asked Harper this at one point too, but I was basically like, look, I know everybody kind of blends together, but you got to tell me ours was like, because I was like, there's no way that I just feel that because I'm old and I'm near death now.
Exactly.
No way. It's got to be like, because it feels like it. Tom,
tell me we were special.
Exactly. I'm like, it meant something. I'm like the Donatello at the end of the second Ninja Turtle movie when they find out they're from a canister, and he's like, you can't just be this. It's got to be more. And Splinter's like, what do you want? I'm a giant rat with a dick. I don't know what to tell. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Your mother and I never loved each other, Donatello. But yeah, I was. Tom, were you in high? Do you feel like your high school was you an experience or no?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I thought you were going to ask me if I thought your high school experience was.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
You remember our high school?
It was fabled all throughout all other high schools, John.
Yeah,
they spoke about the years that you guys went to East.
That's what I want to hear, man. Don't even fucking. I'm telling you right now. That's what I want to hear. Because I feel like it ended after. That's what I feel like our high school experience was exactly how people feel about 2012, where they're like, yeah, after 2012, everything bad started happening. Well, after fucking 2004,
boring kids running.
They did suck. I think other children do suck. The hardcore.
I could just see John in 20 more years. He's gonna be playing "Boy, the Days Glenn Miller Played."
Oh, for the day.
Man, you don't even have the courtesy to give me a Springsteen song like "Glory Days" or some shit while I'm drowning my sorrows at an Applebee's bar. God damn, man. So when did you? So you got out of high school. I know, like for me, in my head, it was always like you were always insanely talented. We always knew you were fucking a blast to hang out with. But it literally felt like you went from that to Pete is now dancing in shows in Atlantic City and fucking dressing up in a giant production of Ghoul Master and shit at whatever. So what was like your first paid gig for doing something fucking awesome?
Well, the first time I actually got on stage in front of a bunch of people and did Michael was at the high school East, like one of the dances. And of course, Ange made me do it. Angela made me get up on stage.
Of course.
And she was Brittany that year. I was Michael. I got on stage. And then the next day, everybody wanted to talk to me all of a sudden. And it was very weird. And that was like senior year, and it was the end. And I was just like done with the whole school experience by then. And
right.
And I knew in my head what I wanted to do from there. And I knew I wanted to definitely pay tribute to Michael Jackson on stages around the world. And I did that. And I got, I would tour with dancers and bands and everything from huge shows to tiny little, private type shows. And then it evolved into Ghoul Master at Six Flags Great Adventure.
Well, does the Mike Jackson stuff, did it feel like that got built up very quickly for you, or did it take time to gradually like build that fan base?
The Michael thing, like that came on so naturally. I never even thought to myself like, okay, I'm going to learn to make my face look like his. I'm going to learn how to do the costumes. I'm going to learn how to move. Like I just watched him so much that it was built into me. And I naturally started doing all that. And then when I saw the people that were making money doing it around the world, I was like, okay, I could do something with this. And I never got a manager or anything like that. Did it all on my own, booked everything on my own. And
impressive, man.
I took over.
It did. It went real quick. It was just like, this is what you do. This was like, this is what Pete does now.
I guess
he's fucking amazing at it. Were you a dancer when you were a kid too? Who taught you how to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was interested in dance right away. I think like the first person that made me say I want to go to dance school was Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was just like, just seeing how effortlessly he moved, and also the Wizard of Oz characters, I was just like, yeah, I need to. So I started going to dance school around like 5 years old.
Oh wow, okay.
And then later, Michael Jackson took over my mind and took over my life, and
Would you say you're just a pretty good? Are you like a decent mimic? Like, how long does it take you to watch a performance and go, okay, I kind of see what they're doing?
I never have tried to like do any other celebrities or stars. I think it
Okay.
was just and I never like thought to myself, I look like Michael Jackson. Like that's something that a lot of people don't understand is I am just a fan that I'm using tape, I'm using makeup, I'm using wigs, I'm using as much as I can
Sure.
to make my face, it's an illusion from stage, you know,
Right.
give them the closest thing. I don't think I look like Michael Jackson. I don't think I don't have his body type. I don't have his height, you know. So I just, mold everything together to give them the best performance I can.
But it's crazy because you do like, I think I've seen other ones before, you know what I mean? And they don't look good.
There's a lot that should not be doing it at all.
Right.
Especially after he passed away, it was just like
Yeah.
oversaturated with people thinking they were tribute artists. But
Yeah. The other crazy thing is too is, and I don't think a lot of people know this, is that I feel like I had my high school friends. I was friends with you guys. I had a bunch of groups that I kind of floated in between. You guys were the only ones who, I don't know if you just didn't have parents for a while, but it was like you, Emily, Ange, obviously, Carly, and all those people. You guys would stalk celebrities like it was like my friends and I would go to like laser tag and then also still not get laid. And like you guys were like in the city, like you have one, I want to talk about the Michael Jackson signature and how you wound up getting that. But two, you guys did like you used to sneak into like events and meet celebrities and like. So whose idea was it to initially do that? Because that I actually don't know.
This guy.
Really?
For me,
I had a feeling.
For me, it was always like if I saw something amazing on TV or in movies and it was something that fascinated me or scared me or made me like question things, I wanted to get as close as I could to the actual real thing, see it with my own eyes, judge it with my own eyes. I wanted to peek behind the curtain and see how everything was done.
Right.
And so if I knew that like a celebrity or a legend or an icon was going to be somewhere that I can go, me and my friends got as close as we could, and we used earpieces, we used all kinds of things. We used fake printed backstage passes. The eyeliner got to everything. It was just like, it was amazing. The VMAs, just getting up close and personal to these things, seeing these people are real, made it all a lot more obtainable.
You were like Frank Abagnale and Gawker combined. You know what I mean? Like the Catch Me If You Can dude, and then like just like all those fake passes and shit. That's I don't know if you could do it today. Probably, maybe, but
yeah, because that was before like that was a YouTube thing to like try to get into these things. We weren't doing it for YouTube. We were doing it for our own little experiences.
Did you guys ever have a close call, like where you were like, "Fuck, we're not getting like it," like cops or anything like that?
Never to the point of legal stuff. No, I'm surprised. But yeah, there were some moments that like we slept out all night for Saturday Night Live, and then in the morning they tell you they cut off the line, and you go home all disappointed.
Right.
But yeah, and we got to meet Michael Jackson and Prince that way.
Yeah, those I want to hear about as well too, because you got Michael Jackson to sign his signature on your back, and then you got it tattooed. But how did you wind up getting that close to him?
So this was in April of 2009, 2 months before he passed away. He's rehearsing for the This Is It shows at the Staples Center in LA, and it's complete lockdown. Staples Center, his SUVs go down into underground garage and stuff. So I had heard about where he was entering and exiting, and I made a letter with a picture of my back with a diagram of how big I want him to sign my back. And I wrote, "Michael, I'm going to be in LA for the next week. I'd really like you to sign my back for a tattoo. It's the only tattoo I'd ever get. Here's my phone number. Here's my info." I slipped it into the back window of the SUV as it's pulling away. I don't know if he's even in there. I just slip it in.
Holy shit.
And I see the three SUVs like convoy. They stop. Security gets out of the front one. And they're like, "Who wanted the tattoo?" And I'm like,
"Holy shit."
I'm like, "Me." And they're like, "Follow us." And we followed them on the freeway for like a half hour, and then went to Michael Jackson's doctor's office. And I walked in, and Michael had a Sharpie ready. And he signed his name, and then he stood back and he looked at it and he went, and then he wrote love above it. And then we got a picture together. I said, I'll see you in London. And yeah, I went and got it tattooed that night, and they made it look exactly like the marker and stuff. And I just got the name put. I didn't get the love put on because it was a little sloppy. And I had no idea who was going to die 2 months later. So
right, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So it just felt like perfect timing. It felt so right. And to this day, I always think it's weird because I'll never see it with my own eyes. I'll see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Pictures. But yeah, it's there.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Here we go. That is so fucking cool, dude.
So sick.
Yeah, man. That is incredible.
That is such a cool tattoo.
How many people know that when you're doing your Michael Jackson thing? Does anybody know that story?
Yes, that has booked me many gigs. Like, there have been people that have told me that, like, we were between a few impersonators. Then we saw the tattoo, and we knew that Michael touched you. We knew that Michael, so they want to touch the tattoo. They want to, like, as if it's some connection to him, which I guess,
That's awesome.
But you watched off his love.
Yeah.
There's me and Michael right there behind me.
That is incredible, man. Yeah, that picture I've seen, like, oh my God, it's just crazy, dude. I love that you were that bold, at that young the entire time, because it just explains your trajectory anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
I think about that moment of how I was like bossing him around of how big I want this tattoo on my back. I'm like, Michael, listen.
That's crazy. What was his doctor like? What are you doing? Like, what is going on right now? Was he like, this is par for the course?
You don't get to, like, the doctor's inside, and then he goes down a long hallway. Security stops everybody, so the doctor's waiting upstairs.
Oh, that's crazy.
But he would go from rehearsal to the doctor's office, and stay in there for like 4 to 8 hours, and he would get put under with like Demerol and stuff.
Yeah,
and then he would come out and talk to the fans, all groggy and all like,
oh my God.
So when he came out that day, he wasn't rolling down the window. He thought paparazzi were still there. And we're like, Michael, the paparazzi left. The window rolls down. And he takes my cell phone and talks to my friend on my cell phone.
Oh my God.
And that was a moment when, like, usually when you're around Michael, it's like rush. And then try to remember. That was a moment when, like, I'm watching him now on the cell phone. I'm this close to him, and I'm looking at his face, and I'm just like, this is the most famous human being in history, I think, in the whole world. And it's some kind of aura around him that is just like, whoa. And
it's nice, and it's cool that he really just didn't have much of an ego about, like, fans and stuff. You know what I mean? That's really cool to hear.
Yes. We would send down security with like $100 bills to the fans outside the hotel and say, go get something to eat, go get food. He would think about those people that are sleeping out on the street for him,
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Nobody gives you $100 bills now for anything. Like, Tom Hanks is like, get the fuck off my lawn. Unless you're Chet. We haven't seen him in a while. We're worried. Chet's the only one waiting for $100 from Tom. And so was Prince kind of the same way too? Same kind of situation?
No.
Okay.
Prince is not a fan friendly type artist. Was not a fan. You will not find one picture online of Prince with a fan, posing with a fan. Which I respect, because he kept this like mysterious aura about him. He wasn't just signing autographs and posing. So when I met him the night he was being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Chuck was with me, and Chuck is really good at like spotting people or spotting vehicles with people in it from far away.
Okay.
And we knew the hotel Prince was staying at, and Chuck's like smoking a cigarette out there. He's like, here he comes. And the sun was coming, and the back window's rolled down, and I would just walk up to the back window, and Prince is sitting right there. And I'm like, congratulations on tonight. And he put his hand out and shook my hand. I thought that was like amazing. I didn't think he was going to do that. Wow. And then I said, would I be able to get a picture with you? And he said, I'd rather not. And then he said he doesn't sign autographs, and yeah, but we had like this little moment where we like ran into him a couple times that night and just running into Prince.
Yeah. That is nuts. I mean, I don't understand. You must have an aura around you as well, because I don't know how you didn't get fucking tackled. Like, you're like, yeah, we just walked up to Prince's car, slid an envelope undisclosed in Michael Jackson's window. You know, everything that you've been doing, by the way, is post 9/11. So the fact that like you and your friends just did this shit is insane.
When I first started going out to do all this stuff, like my dad was like, "You can't get close to these people. You can't get close to Michael Jackson. You can't just walk." And then you would hear the stories and be like, "Okay."
People are like taking notes. They're like, "How'd you do it?"
Yeah. But it was all a lot of acting like you're supposed to be there.
Oh, dude, that's what I do forever. I mean, you guys did it with the celebrity shit. I do it to like get in shit for free, or to take stuff I'm not supposed to, or just really shitty things. I'm like movie theater and concert. Shit. Yeah, really real exactly. Concerts I didn't pay for. People don't bother you if you have glasses on, or if you think if you look annoyed, or you know, it's all about somebody said it's all about the aura. I remember, dude, like when I was in LA, every time I go back to LA, there's a 24-hour fitness in Encino that I have not paid for in like 4 years, because I get the free pass right in the beginning. So it gives you like 3 days. I get to know everybody in those 3 days. And then the rest of the time I'm there, I just walk in at 2 a.m. and everyone's just like, and I'm like, hey, yep. And then I headphones in, head down, especially if in 3 days I establish that I'm a talker. And they're like, don't just let him go do his thing. And I'm like, smart move.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so.
I hope the manager of that place is a fan now.
I think at one point I did, because I wound up going someplace else, and I was like, I just want to thank 24 Hour Fitness for the years of service they provided. And then they were like, what?
Here's the free service.
He's not a member. That's crazy. So then you did. Oh, so I got to go to Ghoul Master too, because I just kind of like, there was so much involved in that, and I don't think people even realize it by the end of it. Because you would start early, like even before, like, you know, like the Halloween shit. You guys would prep and rehearse and get everything down. How long did that take you to figure out, though? You know what I mean? Like from your first get together to this like point where you were like, okay, it's a well-oiled machine.
So I started doing Fright Fest, I think in like 1999 or 2000, and I was like just a character out in the streets. But I was doing my own thing. I was doing my own makeup. I was doing my own costume, and they were just like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And it started to like get recognized, and it was like a mix of Marilyn Manson, Tim Burton, Willy Wonka, Michael Jackson, all pushed into one character.
Yeah.
All the things I loved. And eventually, like, I made a MySpace for the character. And I thought of the simplest first thing that came to my mind, Ghoul Master, because I was at the head of the parade. And I was like, Ghoul Master.
Yeah.
And then the next day at the parade, I hear people saying, Ghoul Master, Ghoul Master, Ghoul. And then I made a logo, and then I sold merchandise, and then it just blew off. And then they gave me my own show, and then I had a theater for 5 years that they were just like, do what you want each year. And it was the most like freeing thing in the world to have a theme park say, here's all this stuff, here's a cast, here's you know, it was incredible.
When you're bringing in other people to do that kind of stuff, though, is it mostly just friends that you trust to do it, or do you actually kind of scout, like, you know what I mean, like, have you gone, like, what's your process for that?
They held auditions, so they would hold they would hold auditions. I'd see a bunch of dancers, and then I'd pick some from there, but a lot were picked from my Michael Jackson shows, from friends I knew.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting. I have a friend. I think he might have been part of your cast. He actually met him because he worked with us, and he does like bone breaking, like with it's like very zombie-esque, where like they contort their body. I know him best by like his Instagram handle is like OTP. I'm going to pull up a picture of it, but I would wager that you two know each other, because I always see him like this time of year is like his time to shine because of the way he dances.
At Six Flags? Or
I think he's done Six Flags. Yeah, I think he's been a Six Flags guy a couple of the years. He does a lot of video shoots. He's all over the place. I actually met him because a friend of mine. I do a lot of live event production, so he was one of the break dancers they brought on. But it's so far beyond break dancing because it's this contortionist.
Yeah, it's like zombie shit. I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to find his name, see if Pete knows him.
No.
And so now you're working on your own religion.
Yes. I haven't talked about it publicly yet, but it's officially registered with the IRS as a tax exempt religious organization, and it is going to be focused. We only worship art that we create. We worship no God, no fables, no myths, no fairy tales. Only what we create and leave behind in this world. That is the highest, most spiritual thing you can do while you're here. To me, it's the only thing. And me and Jesse were just talking about this again. It's the only thing that, and you probably feel the same way when you are creating content. You know you're going to put it out there. It's going to make someone happy, at least 5 people happy in this world. It's going to last forever. It's going to be, it's your history. It's your legacy. So and that's what me and Angela, that's what our lives were. But every moment we were together, trying to create something together that would last longer than us.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She and I used to talk about leaving something behind because that's how you stay immortal. Is this whatever you put out there is what you're going to leave behind forever.
Yes, and it's not like a narcissistic thing. I mean, it's a part of it is, but it's just I would feel like I'm wasting my time not doing anything. So
absolutely. And very few people I feel like actually have that. You know, some people are content to do whatever, but I feel like for us, for our group, it's always kind of been the same shit where if we're just sitting around too long, not doing anything creatively, we just go insane. It's too much. I've had friends literally be like, "You're very cranky. Have you been on stage recently?" You know what I mean? Or like done it. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, you might be right."
Yes.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Jesse will call me sometimes. We have to make a video, bro. We have to have some content. Like, you know, you sound like if you haven't posted in 3 days, you're forgotten.
Right. When did the video editing stuff come into play too? Because like, well, wait, let's go back to the religion real quick. You're the head of this thing, right?
Yes.
Does this have anything to do with the director or no?
No. Well, so the director documentary that I'm working on, it was kind of a parody of a cult, of a weird cult.
Loved it, yeah.
By an old legendary director that's possibly a mythical figure. And I kind of like experimented with the whole cult thing as an art project, doing it through mail and online. Right. And a lot of people were interested. It was more than I could handle right away. And I was like, I have to do something bigger with this. And that's when I started like really looking into religious law, religious like tax laws, and how everything is worded in our Constitution, and how once you have a religion of your own, the government basically can't question you or fuck with you at all.
Wow.
The tax exempt religious churches, they every year like 1,200 preachers or priests get together and they will purposely break the laws of the IRS and disobey their laws to test them and see if they'll be kicked out. And the IRS does nothing.
Holy shit.
Wow. You know,
so you went through this whole process and got it like official.
I did a lot of paperwork. I did. Yeah. And it's an official religion now. And soon the scriptures will be available online to everybody. God. And it's going to welcome artists from around the world, from any religion. You could keep your other religion and still come into it. I won't say the name of it yet, but
okay. Sweet. All right, man. I hope you come back on when we when you finally launch the religion, man. I want in.
I'm building the website now.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's where we are today with religious belief. It's like also the website's coming.
Yes.
and a TikTok.
And an amazing trailer video.
How did you design that? Because we have a picture of the director, right? Can we toss that up? I think Tom's
Hold on
that.
1 second. I'll grab that for you.
But because I'm curious, like that, I don't think I've ever seen anybody look like that. But it seems like you're in black and white. Was that the basic premise of like even when you're, out and about or whatever? Because it's really, you look old. Like, but you know what I mean? But like young, but like classic old. It's weird.
Yes. It was a mix of like silent film stars and like Charlie Chaplin and Howard Hughes and Michael Jackson and these kind of freakish, eccentric people that let their character take over their entire life. And we went out to LA for like 2 weeks, and with like an actual cult of people all wearing uniforms and everything, and filmed a little documentary where everybody just like really fell into these roles and really like wait till you see some of these interviews because it feels like real Charles Manson cult type interview.
Yeah, there was a while there where I love when you're up to something because there it is. That is fucking phenomenal. That is crazy, man. The thing is, like, whenever you're up to something, I know, like, there's just pictures that'll slightly come out. And at that point, though, I think there was just a photo of you in the desert alone, like in a yurt. I don't even know what it was, but I was like, I think anybody else would have been like, oh, fuck, I hope he's okay. And I was like, something good's coming. I'm like, everybody else is losing their mind in the pandemic or doing whatever. And I'm like, Pete's just out in the middle of the desert fucking around. I don't know what he's doing.
I've traveled so much during this whole lockdown thing, like driving cross country and camping and just like, I've been taking advantage of the whole like nature thing.
Yeah, I felt like I haven't seen you in like fucking year. I don't know. Was it last time we saw each other when we were on the plane after?
I think so. Yeah.
That was the crazy. Yeah. Okay, that's a long fucking time. We both wound up on the same plane going out to LA, and we both looked at each other and we were like, "You do know this is how it goes down, right?"
Yeah.
like we were in the same, like we were literally like row apart from each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and also there's like 3 major airports we all could have flown out of, and for some reason we just wound up going to the same. It was a little weird, but I was just like,
after our best friend's funeral, like
after our best friend's funeral, literally like just in succession. We were just standing outside of it, and I was like, I'm going to LA next week, and he's like, oh, me too. And then we were like, flight. We literally said the same flight number, and we were like, okay. Okay.
I have a lot of nightmares about planes going down.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. I'm not I've been able to calm myself down, but people are surprised when I tell them as much as I've flown, I don't like flying.
Yeah.
So like I very much like I usually get drunk, which is always a great option, which you don't think you can do anymore, unfortunately. But I usually get drunk. Or like I don't like takeoffs. I don't like looking out the window, like the shade. I always close the shade.
Well, it's sick because I actually binge watch Aviation Disaster.
Wow.
Like I'm fascinated.
Like how to survive them?
There are charts of where most survivors like sit and where most people die on plane crashes. And then, but there are stories of things that happen. Like there was a pilot who got sucked out the front window and his feet got stuck on the controllers. So the plane was pushed down and he's hanging out the front of the glass window with his body slapping again. And he survived.
No way. Holy shit.
The flight attendants held his legs in, and at one point they're going to let him go because they thought he was just a corpse.
Right.
He survived.
Oh my God. Did he fly again?
Yeah. It's just like the co-pilot said he just looked like this like lanky like thing slapping against the plane and just there was blood on the window. I just can't imagine that.
People seeing it go by thought it was like a car dealership ad. They were like, look, they got one of those inflatable things hanging outside the window. Yeah, I always like I can't help but think about this stuff. You know what else I think about too? I don't know if this happens to you, but if I go and I get myself in a 4-way intersection, no matter what, if there's nobody there or if there's like 1 or 2 cars, as soon as I cross it, I imagine a car slamming into me coming from the other way.
In a blind spot, right?
Yeah, in a blind spot. Every fucking time. That's just how I picture it. So I don't know if I would even be fazed by it because I think I would just be like,
I'm just expecting it.
Yep. I saw this coming.
With the plane crash thing, my dreams about it have been so realistic that I feel like I have really experienced that like feeling of knowing like, all right, well, there's nothing I could do now. This is
right. Do you see your death in the dream though?
Usually once the impact happens, I'm awake.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, good. That's probably, I think I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard that's a good sign. When you see your death in a dream, then you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I never see my death. Yeah.
I've been in a plane where, I don't know if you know, there's things called air pockets. So apparently you can hit one and you lose altitude fast. And I'm not asleep. I can't sleep on planes ever, right? I don't know why. I just can never do it. So this one flight, of course, I'm actually oddly comfortable. And I'm like, I think I can actually fucking pass out. It's gonna be great. And like lean back, I started to close my eyes, and we hit an air pocket and dropped 100 feet. And like the dude next to me, like his shit, like the drinks he had, like fell off. Somebody was in the middle of the aisle on the ground. People were screaming, and then the pilot's just like, "Yeah, we seem to have hit an air pocket there." And I'm like, no one knows what that means. Like, are we gonna be okay? It was so fucking weird, dude. And then, but like, as it happened, I literally just didn't do anything other than go, "Oh, all right." No screaming.
You know how you look at the flight attendants' faces to judge?
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you ever seen the Key and Peele, the sketch where it's like the whole plane's really shaking and he's in the in like the jump seat as the attendant and he just has this blank face on, just staring down.
Oh my god, I've never seen that one. That's so great. Yeah, the rest of that flight was great because I've never seen people on an airplane stop giving a shit, but like once that happened, like they'd be like, bong, like fasten your seat, and they were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like everyone's sharing food and people are standing, leaning on each other's seats, talking.
There's no more rules.
Yeah, there's no more rules. They're like, we almost died in this sky cabin, you fuck. It's not happening. That's
amazing. But now you can't get drunk with your masks on because people get too angry, I guess.
Oh, I know. That's the craziest thing, man. Is like they just did you hear the one dude who punched a flight attendant in the face and broke her, like she has like broken bones in her face because she nudged him.
She asked him to
yeah, and he just got up and like decked her. And then they're like, and of course, like United Air is like, these things happen. You know, it's like, do they though? Are they supposed to? What's the farthest you've traveled for work? Because you've done some gigs overseas, right?
Sweden or Iceland.
Oh, that was it.
Iceland probably.
Right. And what was that like?
That was a big Michael show, and that was they set up that whole like visit for us. So cool. Like they had a tour bus take us around to all the locations. So we didn't actually a lot of places you go to the hotel, you do the show, and you're out. And they set up like this whole kind of tourist thing for us, showed us all the cool places, let us get all our pictures. And yeah, it was amazing. Sweden was amazing too. I felt like I was living in like a Beauty and the Beast type, like old world or something like that. And it was a big music festival, and yeah, that was fucking amazing.
Because we did that. I mean, I'm always impressed by the sets and stuff that you guys wind up putting together, and sometimes relatively quickly too. It just feels like you've always had stuff available to you. Like the day we did that music video or the Trap House video that you guys had put together, probably one of my favorite times with you and Chuck.
Yeah,
just shooting that shit was great. But I mean, the stuff that when I got into your house, you had stuff that like I don't know if you had used yet. You know what I mean? So like, are you just amassing things that you'll see because
absolutely yes. Everything from garbage to thrift stores to Goodwill to just, like spotting things. But I'm not like a hoarder to the point where like you know, I do eventually use everything or like find like, oh, this is what I needed that for, and I feel like it all. Yeah.
So what's the creative process like for you then? Is it mostly just are you drawing from like, you know, the stuff that you find? Like, how do you begin to go, okay, look, I'm going to make this music video. This is what I want to do. Where does it start? Because you know how like musicians will be like, oh, sometimes write the music, sometimes write the lyrics. Comics either sit down for an hour and write, or they just get whatever. What's your like? How do you go about it?
So that's what I was doing most during this whole lockdown thing when there was no live shows going on and stuff. I was making music videos for local bands and local artists, and it was pretty amazing because I was expecting a lot of people to come in with their whole full idea and everything, but so many people just gave creative freedom and just like let me and my partner Nick, he makes some music videos with me. We work together in Hal Peak Productions, and yeah, all these bands gave us so much creative freedom, and that's my favorite thing, to come in I have the kind of vision in my head, and then I make as much happen as I can in the little time I'm given, and then editing is, of course, my post-production is where I obviously spend the most time, like nights and nights of just like obsessive Adderall editing.
Yeah. Which is why you're one of the few people I can like give something to and trust that it's going to be fine. Like there's not a lot of people who like creative freedom. Like sometimes I'll work with somebody and they literally want you to take them step by step.
Or they don't know.
Exactly. And 9 times out of 10, every time I've given you something, I'm like, I don't know, man, just have fun with it. Do what you got to do. And then you leave you alone and it just gets done and it's perfect.
Yeah, that's where I work the best.
Yeah.
And that's why I've never had a real steady job where I'm being told you do this, then you do this, because I would not be able to survive.
I was just gonna, that was going to be my next question, because I was going to say, have you ever had? I mean, I know you've had a couple normal jobs, but like, how long have they lasted? You know what I mean? Like, what was
like overnight at Kohl's? Stocking overnight at Kohl's was probably my longest thing, and eventually, like one of the women there, she looks at me and she goes, "The fuck are you doing here?" And she goes, "Get out of here while you still can before you turn 50 years old and realize you've been like working in Kohl's." And I was like,
"Wow." And you left that night on the truck that you were unpacking?
Yeah. Left to Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some garbage fucking jobs, and I always used to do shit that would remind people I didn't belong there. So, like, eventually they would get the idea. Like, I would always, draw something ridiculous or just, like, leave a clip up of me performing somewhere or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, I do that, actually.
Yeah. He doesn't really care about this job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of better than you. It's fine. Have you ever, because we talked about it a million times before, you did the stand-up set. The one time that's the one time you did stand-up, right? When Chuck came with you?
Wait, you weren't there?
No, I wasn't there. We've talked about it.
Like,
yeah, no. No, I mean, we've talked about it a couple times, but I love this is the only time you've done stand-up, though.
Yes, but I really want to do it again. And me and Chuck have been talking about doing open mic again, but the one time I did stand-up,
this is so great.
I wanted to go up and just like do an Andy Kaufman type, nervous, embarrassed, first time comedian. And we went to an open mic and it was one of those packed ones. Like, I think we must have sat through like 23 other comics before I got to go up. And I had a Ziploc bag of water in my underwear. And I went up there and I said like some horrible jokes and I got nervous and I started squeezing the bag and the water's like coming down my leg. And I was shocked that the host was fully, he thought it was real, 100%. To the point where he got on stage and like, our first times up here, they could be really hard and like, we just gotta. And I was like, I didn't think the host was going to fall for that, but
that's amazing.
Chuck left the room. It was so cringy. Like,
was there anybody there that you guys knew, like any other comics or anything like
that? There was one big name comic. I didn't know who he was, but he was in the back, like, and I said, oh my God, my first name was, it was spelled Jared. So the host introduced me as Jared. And when I came up, I said, it's actually Jard. And I heard him in the back go, "Pah!"
Oh my God.
But yeah, I want to do that again. And this time I have like an idea to make it a little more cringe in a way of just like really uncomfortable topics right off the bat. Like coming up and just setting a tone that's like, oh, this is going to be.
Yeah, that's great. How much prep goes into something like that though? Like, because you like you
a Ziploc bag and some water.
No. I mean, I understand how props work. Son of a bitch. I mean, like, to get your mind around, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to commit to that shit. How do you not because like I don't think that's something I could do and not break or not acknowledge the situation. Are you fully immersed in that character at the time?
Yeah, I am. And I feel like you wouldn't do that because that would be like me going on stage and trying to do like a horrible Michael Jackson performance or something, because that's what I do seriously, and that's
Right.
what you do. So I guess it would be like, yeah, for you to go up there and try to do a cringe, horrible stand-up,
Right.
but I fully get in that mindset, and I truly don't care what I lost that a long time ago. I truly don't care what anyone thinks. So yeah, it's just fun for me.
It is kind of nice to have that burnt out in the front of your brain. Whatever that is not there anymore. Like that's the same thing. Like sometimes when we've gotten guests on or whatever, like I had a conversation with Elliot Gould the other day for an hour on the phone, and people are like, how? And I'm like, well, I don't know. My manager got me his number and I wanted him on the show. So I just called. And they're like, and I'm like, and he's going to do it. and I have no problem with it. Same thing when we got
you and Emily have always been good at that, making random ass phone calls, making random like connections and it's just like everybody else kind of fears saying things to people, but some celebrities, I feel like they want to help out. Some don't want to be bothered, but take your chance.
9 times out of 10, we were talking about this the other day. It's usually their fucking management or PR that are just outright fucking assholes. And like, there's a couple times I've gone around them, and I love doing that because when I've actually gotten them to come on without anybody's approval, I will politely as possible, email them back, go, hey, just want to say thanks. And, we had a great time, just to fucking like really dig it in. Like
send them a fucking gift basket.
Yeah, exactly. You piece of shit. I'm gonna be so nice to you about this. It is kind of crazy. Like our class, like we had a lot of people come out of there that were insanely talented or pursued show business in some way, shape, or form. And I didn't see that a lot afterward or even before. I don't know what it was.
Have you been watching a lot of the high school classes afterward, Judd?
We monitor them, all right?
We do. We try to see the competition coming ahead. Yeah. This guy's got his own fucking religion. You don't think he knows where you don't think he knows where the youth's gonna be going?
I know where that mindset is.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, but we have a lot of siblings, like brothers and like friends who have like a lot of siblings or whatever, and they don't have any. No, I'm not defending it. I'm saying it is. I'm like, guy, please listen. I don't want to get involved, but but like it is weird because I feel like they just didn't do too much. I don't know why. It was like, I don't know if it was because of like, I always think about it. Like, I'm like, is it the, 80s/90s that we grew up in, the shit we used to watch on TV? Because I feel like a lot of that back in the day was like, fuck your real jobs. Your dad's an asshole. Become a star. And we were all like, yes.
We did grow up with a very specific, like, did you watch Pee Wee Herman growing up?
Of course, yeah.
I was going to ask, is that him sitting in the corner behind you on the mantle?
That's me and Pee Wee Herman, like right there.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I went to his Broadway show, and that was like when this app was coming out. What was it called? I don't know. But he sent an invite to everybody in the audience to come bowling with him. And we all went to a bowling alley, and he bought everybody food and like actually took time to like talk to everybody.
Holy
and
shit.
In full Pee Wee makeup character, I was obsessed with Pee Wee as a kid before Michael Jackson. Before I would like get on the bar and do the tequila dance and everything, and so he was my first like idol.
Nice.
But yes, I think the entertainment at that time destroyed our minds in a way, but also opened our minds to
anything goes at that point.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. I mean, I always like he seems to be doing all right or whatever, but I never understood the backlash to him. He would like, that was because when I was a kid, I didn't understand. I thought he did the most heinous thing imaginable, and I'm like, half of the shit we did.
His scandal was one of the most like. When I look back at it now, like that was just someone trying to ruin a child's, performer's career.
Right. Hey, did you guys know this child star has a dick?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what?
And in a porn theater, he might have touched it.
Exactly. Oh no. Your kids will never be able to watch him again. Like, yeah, I'm sure they're reading the news. You know what I mean?
It did kind of like scare me to see. I remember seeing the first pictures of Pee Wee when he had like, it was the mugshot, the long hair and the Inquirer.
Oh, yeah. Right. And you're like, that's what touching your dick does to you.
Yeah.
They put you in an orange jumpsuit and you grow your hair out. Fuck.
I've stayed away ever since.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so crazy when you think about all like over the years, everything that they've tried to do to control celebrity or entertainers or anything like that. Like even this recent wave of bullshit that's going on. I know we talk about it all the time too, but it just drives me crazy.
I know, and like right now, the story that I cannot get out of my head is obviously the Alec Baldwin thing. Like,
yeah,
I keep replaying it in my head, and that's another thing I have nightmares about is like accidentally doing something that lasts that you have to live
right
with your life. And there's this feeling in the dream when you wake up and you're just like relieved, like, oh my god,
yeah.
that's not really enough. But to wake up every day knowing you did something like that, it's just,
right,
rough.
Yeah. And then to find out like John Mulaney and Olivia Munn broke up the next day after the shooting. Oh, I don't know. Soul crushing. Well, listen, we got to wrap up, but thanks for coming on. I got 2 more questions for you. We ask every guest. So I'm going to ask you now. First one is, if you can go back in time, tell your younger self something that would help you out today, what would it be?
It would probably be something about saving money because I just don't do that. But
I hear you, me too.
Yeah. I've always been horrible with numbers, money, all that stuff is just like, I guess it's the right brain, left brain type thing. But
yeah,
I don't even want to hear about it. Let me create my stuff.
Yeah, I just talked to Tom about that because we had to have like a business thing, and I was like, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't get.
I like money. I like it.
I like the freedom it provides, but I don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you this piece of paper, and then you respect me, or pretend to at least. And then, so the last one is, what had to end in your life, either good or bad, in order for you to wind up where you are today?
I always wonder how different my life would be if Michael Jackson was still alive. And that's like after he died is when the tribute artist career like took off to the point of, okay, this is my full-time thing now for like a few years, and this is what I'm doing. So I think my life would be a little different if he was still around. And
interesting.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind with that.
Nice. Awesome, dude. Well, listen, it's always good to see you. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
I also got to go to Neverland twice. We'll talk about that next time.
Oh, holy fucking shit. You can't just drop that on the... All right, we'll save it.
Oh, so I am making a YouTube channel where I'm going to tell all my Michael encounter stories like in graphic detail because I have it all in my head and I was going to write a book and I'm like, no, I have to just spit it all out and say it. So it'll be a YouTube channel. It'll be
fantastic.
Coming.
Awesome, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to follow it.
Yeah, we'll plug the shit out of it, dude. You can come back on when it launches and when your religion launches. And I hope there's a seat for me at that table. Do you guys have robes? Can we wear anything fancy?
There's going to be uniforms. There's going to be costumes. But we admit that they are costumes. And we admit that they don't make you any better than the next person wearing.
Wow, I'm loving this shit. I think I might.
Do you get to create your own costume? Like, is that your piece of art?
That's part of it, yes. Yes.
Wow.
I'm loving it.
So you could wear the biggest Pope hat in the room, but you're not better than anyone.
That's what I'm titling this episode.
Yeah.
Pete Carter, you could wear the biggest Pope hat in the room.
But just remember.
But just remember. It was great seeing you, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Nice meeting you.
Dystopia tonight.